What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another beer review. As part of the supermarket series, we are finally reviewing another beer that's not by Asda or Aldi. It's another Lidl one. So it's another one by Down South Brewing. I'm reading it there. Which is their kind of collaboration brewer who brew exclusively for them, or it might just be a name, they might brew it themselves. I'm not 100% on that, but today we're looking at their Modern Craft IPA. It says on it US of IPA, that might be its name, a bit like the Citra hops was called Bitter is Better. Maybe it's in the same placement on the can, so maybe that's what it is, US of IPA. But as I say, yeah, it's their take on an India Pale Ale, and I presume perhaps not an APA because they've literally put IPA here, but perhaps a kind of take on a US IPA, maybe something like that. As always, guys, very, very minimal information on the can. All it says on the back is India Pale Ale, and we're looking at 5.5% in a 330ml can. So they've classed it as 1.8 UK units, which I think is about right. Someone might be rounding up or down a tiny bit, but there we go. Really, really basic front cover every time. Can artwork. It's literally just a downwards arrow, and that's very hard to see because the tones are quite similar. So really, no expense spared, but literally, in terms of the can artwork, is that the right phrase? Anyway, but hopefully all the money's gone into producing a nice craft IPA. They've got decent percentages for their craft beers. I've noticed that their Citra one was 5.9. This is 5.5. They're not scrimping on the percentages, which is nice. Nice to have that authenticity, but it's all going to be down to the pour, the smell, and ultimately the taste. So with that being said, let's give it a crack open. I can get some resinous hops. Tiny bit, not much, but that doesn't say anything. We'll wait till it's poured out. Oh, it's darker than I thought it would be. It looks quite almost brown coming out of the can, but I'm sure it won't. It's fairly dark. It's like an amber colour. Quite a dark amber, actually. I know it always looks darker on the camera, but really, in my hand, it looks a lot like what it looks like on that screen. Flavour-wise, tiny bit piney, not very fruity, and a little bit malty, a little bit caramelly, that kind of sweet flavour, or sweet smell. It's definitely coming through. Head looks quite nice and foamy, which is quite nice, but yeah, quite easy to see through. I can see my fingers through it, but I don't think it's meant to be particularly thick. It's meant to be more, not very hazy, basically. But yeah, definitely like an amber ale. Don't think that smell's going to develop much more, so I think it's worth just tucking in and giving it a try. Quite bitter, quite bitter and malty. It doesn't quite taste like an English kind of beer that you get served with the taps that go like that. You guys know what I mean. It tastes a little tiny bit more craft than that, but not much more. It's really caramelly. It doesn't taste entirely like a golden ale, but yeah, it's quite caramelly. If I could equate it to something, another beer, it would probably be the West Coast Pale that we reviewed. That was Asda in collaboration with Badco, like that kind of like earthy, bitter flavour that I think is very associated, at least with British people, with how Americans have their IPAs. Especially ones that aren't specialists like New England's or something like that. With that being said, that's what Asda's take on a West Coast was. But yeah, that's really what this tastes like. I mean, it's enjoyable. It tastes a bit like the Boston Lager. Is it Samuel Adams Boston Lager? I'll insert like a picture here. If you guys have had that, that's what it tastes like. So, and that I really associate with America. They definitely must have based it on beers that taste a bit like that, which, in that sense, is hit the nail on the head quite well. Especially for a cheaper beer. I don't remember how much this costs, but it's going to be cheap. It's going to be cheap craft. Probably why they didn't do a lot on the can artwork, but never mind. We'll give it a few more sips before we give it to rating, because kind of since thinking that, it's making me think, well, actually, you know, it's definitely getting flavours and hitting marks. You know, it's ticking boxes in terms of what I associate with American beers, and, you know, literally says US of IPA, modern craft IPA. So let's give it a few more sips though. So it's quite a nice mix of malts and hops. It's not offensive at all. I think in terms of what I'm going to give it out of 5, kind of flicking between a few marks, because it does taste quite a lot like that Boston beer. But it's whether, you know, it's that well executed, whether the flavour's that enjoyable. I think I'm going to give it a 3.25. It's not horrible by any means, and it's actually like fairly well done, but it's not anything I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and think, what was that beer? You know, it's not that memorable. I'd still rather the actual branded beer that I was referencing earlier. No, my videos aren't sponsored. But it's not too bad. If I know I've used this analogy before, but if I was in a Lidl somewhere I didn't know and I had to pick up some beers and I really thought, oh, I want to get craft, definitely want to get craft, don't want a generic lager this time, let's get craft, I probably would pick this up again because I'd know that I enjoyed it. So yeah, pretty decent, for 5.5% as well, that's quite good. So 3.25 guys. Let me know what you guys thought of it if you've tried it, and let me know what you guys are drinking as always. Let me know what the new craft beers are, what's getting popular, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, as always guys, give the video a like if you did enjoy it, subscribe if you've yet to do so. Keep drinking those craft beers, and as always guys, I'll see you in the next beer review. Peace.